Let's go out to Josh Rowe and Latricia Thomas. They are live at the First Baptist Church of Fort Oglethorpe, where the ceremony or the funeral is about to begin.
Kim and Calvin, it's the 5th straight day for a funeral for one of these fallen heroes. Today we honor Randall Smith, as you've been talking about. We want to show you some of the things you can see out here right now, as we've seen a steady line of people over the last 2.5, 3 hours come to pay final respects to Randall Smith.
That's right. If you take a look over our shoulder this way, you can see all of the motorcycles, the members of the Patriot Guard, at least 100, maybe 200 or 300.
Oh, hundreds. It's got to be at this point. It's continued to grow since we've gotten here as well.
And we talked about on Friday they came as far away as Texas. You can see a few people standing on top of a building there. This is Lafayette Road, closed down for this service. It's expected to start in about 10 minutes. We have people here ready, lining the roads with American flags. There are veterans, there are children, there are people who knew Petty Officer Randall Smith. There are people who never got that chance as well.
And that is one of the touching things about this, the outpouring of support from the community, but also the veterans community. We saw the VFW post in Paulding, Ohio. VFW post 587 posts a sign on the front of their building, "Rest in peace, Randall Smith," right after he passed away. This has touched the veterans community in a very profound way, and they have come out in force today as part of the Patriot Guard. We actually saw State Senator Todd Gardenhire line his motorcycle up. He's going to ride with the Patriot Guard today as well.
That's right. We also know that Petty Officer Smith served on the USS Wasp, a Navy ship, for 3 years. They honored him after he passed away on his service there on the ship. This an opportunity for sailors to come from this area. We know about 100 Navy sailors are expected to be here. We've seen many of them already go inside because the visitation was from 10 to 1. And then also we know about 3 admirals and about 2 generals attending this service here today.
And we continue to hear story after story about Randall Smith and the man that he was. 26 years old, the father of 3, grew up in Paulding, Ohio, a great student, a very good high school baseball player, was going to go play college baseball for Defiance College in Ohio. The Yellow Jackets there, hurt his shoulder, joined the Navy a couple of years later. He'd been in the Navy for 5 years when he passed away.
That's right. We also, so many members of the law enforcement community here today, sure. Members from East Ridge, members from departments all over, honoring Randall Smith's memory. We're joined right now by Chattanooga Police Chief Fred Fletcher. He is here with some of his members of his department for this funeral.
Josh,
Chief,
yes, sir.
Thanks so much for joining us today. Talk to us about why it's important to honor Randall Smith's memory and to have some of your members of the department here.
Well, absolutely. Obviously, this tragedy has struck all of Chattanooga, but nobody more intensely than the members of the Chattanooga Police Department. We are first on the scene at this tragedy, and we have been here to support Petty Officer Smith and his other fallen servicemen through every stage of this. They deserve every respect and every honor that we as a community can offer them, and nobody believes that more firmly than those who protect us.
And we also saw you on Friday at the funeral for David White as well. Such an outpouring of support from the entire community.
Absolutely, and we've said for a long time that we are a part of this community as a police department, and a loss to anybody is a loss to all of us. And it has struck the Chattanooga Police Department, the men and women who serve through the police department, as intensely as anybody else. And I could not call them off this honor if I tried to. They are here for Petty Officer Smith, as they have been for the other fallen members of our military, and it's a great deal of pride to make sure that we pay them the honor and the respects that they deserve.
And Chief, talk about some of the outpouring of support your department has seen since this shooting 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely. It's quite literally overwhelming, whether it was the procession last week or it's the almost hourly receipt of food and water or the stream of cards or messages that I receive. This community has clearly indicated that it is as angry and saddened by these attacks on us as anything that has happened to this community, but that we will use it as an occasion to make sure that we became a stronger Chattanooga and that we move forward together.
And as we've been out at the memorials the last few days, we also see your officers standing there for hours on end, and the community coming up and shaking their hands and thanking them as well. We continue to see those scenes over and over again.
Absolutely. That's a reflection of the relationship that Chattanooga and their public safety representation, particularly the police department, have. It is certainly magnified because of the tragedy and the intensity of this situation. But in the year plus that I've been here, That's what I have seen. And what we want to tell the community is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, the men and the women of the Chattanooga Police Department are here for you. We were here for you the day of the attacks. We've been here for you every day since, and we'll be here for you tomorrow.
And at some point, some of these guys have to be tired. They have to be emotionally exhausted, but they're still here. And like you said, you couldn't get them to leave here if you wanted to today.
I've tried to get some folks to rest, particularly the great traffic division we have at the Chattanooga Police Department, but they are committed to this community and the people who have lost loved ones. And the reality is, no matter how tired they are, these guys over here to my left, no matter how tired they are, what they'll tell me is they're not as exhausted as the families who've lost a loved one, and they're here to make sure that they receive the respect and honor that they've earned.
CPD Police Chief Fred Fletcher, thank you for your time. Really do appreciate it. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for being with us
You're
today.
welcome.
Thank you.
And as we continue to see people like Fred Fletcher, we also saw Mayor Andy Burke come in a little bit earlier. We know that Senator Bob Corker is here today. Like we said, we saw State Senator Todd Gardenhire here today. So a lot of people, a lot of city leaders coming out to pay their respects today.